interesting discussion about Brazilian studies. I'm a sociocultural anthropologist, so I've taken this from a completely different direction. So it's a little bit more of a historical look at research in Brazil. Anthropological research in Brazil has contributed to the conceptualization and protection of biomes in that it's called into question and complicated the boundaries between nature and humanity. A wide variety of research in Brazil has caused us to question if we should be thinking about biomes as exclusively natural. And that goes back 30 or 40 years. As mentioned, in the 70s, natural spaces were places where humans were not supposed to be. And I really think it is research in Brazil that has changed our thinking on that quite a bit. So it's made a big impact. Archaeology, research with contemporary peoples based in historical ecology, the social anthropology of Eduardo Viveiros de Castro at the Museu Nacional, called perspectivism, as well as critiques of perspectivism, which also come from Brazil as well as elsewhere, has all complicated our understanding of nature versus the human. These bodies of research and the dialogue they have engendered with respect to these categories point to the many ways that indigenous Amazonians are integral to the protection of Brazilian biomes. So I just want to review the contributions of these different approaches with this goal in mind. Archaeological research in Brazil has been key for showing how the human and the natural are entangled. Rather than being categorized simply as either wild or wrecked, forests and cerrados are coming to be seen as rooted in and contingent on human actions and social configurations of the past, to quote Suzanne Oakdale and her co-authors. This complex relationship between humans and nature is seen with respect to the composition of soils, river, flora, and fauna. Beginning 4,000 years ago, Amazonians started to manage forests. In many places, Brazil nut tree stands were encouraged and single-species forests of acai palm created. At one site, adjacent to the juncture of the Negro and the Solimões rivers, Eduardo Neves and James Peterson have shown that over the course of long-term occupation during the first millennium AD, vast amounts of fertile Amazonian dark earth were formed from the acidic yellow soil by humans. Mound building and cultivation methods created a forest mosaic of secondary growth surrounded by larger areas of high forest. The Upper Xingu, central Brazil, is another key location for showing the long-term development of landscapes by indigenous peoples. Long seen as pristine and protected by a reserve since the mid-20th century, areas around the headwaters of the Xingu River are covered with sites where there were once nodes of high population, houses built around central plazas, each node connected by roads to form lattice-like structures. According to Michael Heckenberger, this formation reached its height between 1250 and 1400 AD. And the land between these nodes was carefully managed with weirs, ponds, causeways, fields of sapé grass for thatch, and picky nut tree groves. Research with contemporary Amazonians shows that forage management and knowledge continues. In central Brazil, the Kayapós practice of low-level burning favors Inajá and Tucumã palms. It's also linked to the formation of dark earth. William Ballet has found the Kaapor of eastern Brazil create a new kind of old-growth forest, which enhances species diversity. Again, Upper Xinguans, who have used fire as a tool for landscape management and have monitored rainfall for their agricultural cycles for thousands of years, have a wealth of knowledge passed between generations about current changes in rainfall and conditions now leading to uncontrollable fires. This sort of knowledge is useful both for sustainable management and the documentation of changes in biomes. It is also a resource that garners international support and income. The Kaapor, for example, initiated a project in 2009, funded by the World Wildlife Foundation and Rio's Museu do Índio, to support the transmission of forest knowledge. This program has been influential in fighting logging. In the Xingu, the Associação Rede de Sementes do Xingu, with the help of the Instituto Socioambiental, has been enlisting Xinguans since 2007 to gather native seeds to sell to deforested areas outside of the Xingu Park.